A 4-year-old boy, 30 pounds, 7 marks on his body, found in a cardboard box on the side of a road in Philadelphia. Nobody reported him missing. Not one person, in a city of 2 million people. It would take 65 years to learn his name. February 25th, 1957. Fox Chase, a quiet residential neighborhood on the northeast edge of Philadelphia. A college student named Frederick Benonis calls police. He tells them he was chasing a rabbit through the brush near Susquehanna Road when he came across something he couldn't explain. What officers found was a cardboard box sitting near the tree line. A bassinet box, the kind sold at JCPenney. Inside, wrapped in a flannel blanket, was the body of a small boy. He was nude. Investigators believed he had been severely malnourished. At 4 years old, he weighed around 30 pounds. His body showed multiple bruises, some recent, some older. There were surgical scars on his ankle, his chin, and his groin. The medical examiner ruled the cause of death blunt force trauma to the head. Several things stood out immediately. The blanket had been recently washed, mended with mismatched thread, and cut into 2 pieces. The body appeared to have been cleaned before he was placed in the box. His nails had been trimmed. His hair had been cut hastily, unevenly, and clumps of cut hair were still found stuck to his skin. Whoever left him here had taken deliberate time to prepare the body. No identification, no clothing, no missing persons report on file anywhere that matched. There was one more detail about the box itself. Investigators traced it by serial number to a JCPenney store in Upper Darby, about 15 miles away. The store had sold 12 of these bassinet boxes between December 1956 and February 1957. Every sale had been paid in cash. No names were recorded. Police tracked down 11 of the buyers. Investigators were never able to identify the 12th. Philadelphia police moved quickly. Fingerprints were taken. No match. The FBI was contacted. Nothing there either. A post-mortem photograph was taken of the boy, dressed and positioned upright in a chair, and sent to police departments and newspapers across the region. Then came something unusual for 1957. 400,000 identification circulars were printed and tucked inside utility bills sent to homes across the city. The Philadelphia Inquirer described it as the greatest circularization in the city's history. More than 500 letters arrived. Over 135 people came in person to try to identify him. None of them could. At the scene, investigators had also recovered 3 items nearby: a man's blue corduroy cap, a child's scarf, and a white handkerchief with the letter G embroidered in the corner. Each one was examined. Each one led nowhere. To understand how a child could simply go unrecognized, it helps to understand the world this case existed in. Records were paper-based and often inconsistent. In mid-century America, especially in cases involving private adoptions, informal fostering, or children born outside marriage, a child could move between households with little or no official documentation. Arrangements were made privately, often to avoid the severe social stigma of an unwed pregnancy. Investigators understood fairly early that this child had not wandered from home. Someone had made deliberate decisions about the box, about the blanket, about where and when to leave him. This was not careless. By July 1957, the city held a quiet funeral. Police officers and staff from the medical examiner's office served as pallbearers. The boy was buried in a potter's field in Holmesburg. His gravestone carried no name. It read, "America's Unknown Child." And as if the case were not already difficult enough, investigators would later learn that even the discovery itself had not unfolded the way they first believed. A man had been checking illegal muskrat traps in the area on February 24th, the full day before Benonis called police. He had found the body. He said nothing. He was afraid police would confiscate his traps. He came forward only after the investigation became national news. The full details of his account were never publicly released. Police were left with unanswerable questions. Had the scene been disturbed? Had anything been removed? Had anyone been seen nearby? It was only one day's delay. but it was the first of many moments in this case where a thread appeared and then vanished. The years moved on. The case didn't. A man named Remington Bristow worked as an investigator at the Philadelphia Medical Examiner's Office. The boy in the box was never officially assigned to him. He pursued it anyway, for over 30 years, largely on his own time. Bristow focused on a foster home about 1.5 miles from where the body was found. He had visited the property and seen items there, a bassinet and blankets, that he believed resembled those found with the boy. Police investigated thoroughly. No direct link was ever established. Bristow died in 1993. The case was no closer to resolution than it had been in 1957. 5 years later, investigators exhumed the remains and attempted a DNA extraction. The sample was too badly degraded. Nothing usable came back. A second attempt was made in 2001, using material extracted from the boy's teeth. A partial genetic profile was obtained, but when searched against all available databases, no relatives could be matched. The profile sat on record with nowhere to go. Then, in 2002, a new lead arrived. Police investigated a claim from a woman referred to in case documents only as M. She described a deeply disturbing account involving her mother and a young boy. Investigators examined the lead very carefully. What gave the claim unusual weight was this: 2 details from the autopsy had never been released to the public. The first, the boy's last meal had been baked beans. The second, his fingers and feet were found to be wrinkled, consistent with having been submerged in water shortly before or after death. M provided both details, unprompted. Police spent months on the lead. They interviewed neighbors. They cross-checked every part of her account against what could be verified. They could not corroborate her story. Neighbors interviewed denied the account entirely. M also had a well-documented history of mental illness. The lead was eventually set aside. But those 2 details, the baked beans, the wrinkled fingers, stayed on the record, unexplained. In 2016, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children released an updated forensic facial reconstruction. It was shared millions of times. No identification followed. In 2019, investigators authorized a second exhumation. New samples were sent to forensic genealogist Dr. Colleen Fitzpatrick and her organization, Identifinders International. Fitzpatrick had helped resolve several major cold cases using forensic genetic genealogy, a discipline that had only recently proven itself as a serious investigative tool. She later said this was the most challenging case of her career. The DNA, she described, was like confetti. Decades of degradation and 2 previous failed extraction attempts had left almost nothing intact to work with. Forensic genetic genealogy does not search for an exact match in criminal databases. Investigators upload a genetic profile to public ancestry platforms and look for partial matches. Distant relatives, people who share even a small fragment of the same family line. From those matches, they reconstruct family trees, working forward through generations, eliminating branches, narrowing the field. The closest matches were extremely distant. It took 3 full years of work. Eventually, the tree led to 2 names. His biological mother, Mary Elizabeth Abel, born 1931 in North Philadelphia. She had worked as a cashier at a cinema in Center City. Relatives later confirmed she had previously placed other children through private informal arrangements. She died in 1991. She never reported a son missing. His biological father, Augustus Zarelli, a stonemason from West Philadelphia, the son of Italian immigrants. Following the identification, his family's attorney stated, "There is no credible evidence Augustus ever knew the child existed." He died in 2014. The profile was matched against a previously unindexed birth certificate. The identification was definitively confirmed. On December 8, 2022, 65 years after his body was found on that road in Fox Chase, Philadelphia Police Commissioner Daniel Outlaw stood before cameras and announced his name. Joseph Augustus Zarelli, born January 13, 1953. 4 years old. On what would have been his 70th birthday, January 13, 2023, a new headstone was placed at Ivy Hill Cemetery. It carried his name, it carried his face. But Philadelphia police were very careful about what they said next, because a name is not a conviction, and an identification is not a solved murder.